I'm Rita that Laverne Helms. I was named after my dad's sister. My birthday was August 27, 1929. I was born in my grandma's house because my folks didn't have any money. It was right in the Depression, so we lived there till I was 9 months old, and so they moved over to another big house, and I went to visit my mother, the landlady, and my mother put me down on her nice, beautiful carpet, and apparently I didn't have a good diaper on, and I messed up her carpet. That's one of the first things I can remember, you know, sitting there.
Went to Korea in March of '51. June 23rd of '51, I got hit. Went back to the hospital ship Repose in the Busan Harbor. Was there for 10 days, all healed up, but I broke out with penicillin reaction. I was there another 4 weeks. It was $1 million wound for me because fighting was very bad when I left, and when I come back, a lot of things were settled down and I went into peace talks. March of '52, I got out of Korea, went home on a 30-day leave, went back until middle of July, came home for good.
Anyway, my folks, I moved 20 times. I'm writing now a story about all the houses that we moved in. And if it wasn't for my grandma, we kept moving back and forth to my grandma's house. I was going to all different schools in Appleton. This is during the Depression. Times were really hard. That's why we went back and forth with my grandma. If it wasn't for her, I don't know what we would have done. And so I went to a lot of different schools. I was baptized at St. Mary's, my first communion there, and confirmation. At school, it's called Beecher School, out on Lake Winnebago. And those were the happiest times I ever had as a child.
1945, I went to Roberts Lake with Jerry Benzulin and his folks. And I liked it so much up there, I talked some of my classmates into buying a lot on Roberts Lake, which we did in 1948. 6 of us built it: Jerry Benzulin, Vince Sanderfoot, Gene Benzulin, Norb Sankyle, Carl and Brady, and myself. But 3 of us, Norb Sankyle, Vince Sanderfoot, and I, had the money in it. So it was our cottage for 13 years, and then we sold it to a people that lived on Lake Winnebago. 1961.
I'm the oldest of 10 children. I have 8 sisters and a brother, Ronnie, and he's next to me, but the rest are all girls. And I started high school 4 times because of I was sick. The grades were good at Appleton High School, and they helped me get a good job in an accounting company. Well, it turned out that my grandpa Helms died, and there was a funeral. My uncle Manny lived in California, and previously I had talked to another girl that came back from California, and she was telling me how great it is in getting a job, and so I thought maybe I'll do that. That's how I got to California. I stayed from November till March '52. I come home and I got a job at another accounting in downtown Appleton, and that's the year that Don and I got married.
I met Rita on a blind date, May 30th, 1950. Through 2 of my cousins, Rosie and Rita Williamson. She was chumming with them. We were up at High Cliff, and we went together until I went to service. We wrote quite frequently. When I got out, we got married August 30th of 52. What was it? I forgot. Engagement ring I bought in Japan when I was there, what they call R&R, Rest and Recuperation. And I gave it to Rita just after we left her grandma's house. We visited her Grandma Van Hoeken, and on the way home, we stopped at a stop sign and I gave her the ring. So that was, got out in about the middle of July, got married in 30th of August, the same year. 1960, Rita and I went out west for 3.5 weeks. And we visited apple orchards up in Oregon, state of Washington, and there we met the top apple man in the country, Bill Luce, and he took us around quite a few orchards in that area. And we met a couple we kept contact with for about 15 years, and they came down and visited us. 1972, we took over Ledgewood Orchard. It's near Fond du Lac. I run that for 12 years. We had my brother Bob, Dave, Tony Rice, and myself. And then it got a little bit too much for me to do orchard, so I gave it up. In 94, Rita and I sold the orchard to Bob and Mary. In 97, Bob sold it to Jim Gertz and Company, and they developed it all. Now the orchard is all homes. We rented an apartment right on Lamers Road from George, New Zealand. Paid a whole $18 a month for rent. Then we bought the lot, 2 lots next door, and George and Jerry Van Zeeland built us a home in 1954. In our first house, we had all 10 children. Barb was born the first one. The other 9 were born in a small house. So we had to have 5 of the boys down in the basement, fix up the basement. With 1 bathroom, it was getting pretty small. So then we bought 4 acres down the road, and Rayon Ellison built us a big 5-bedroom home on the 4 acres. We had a big raspberry patch there for about 30 years. And we bought this place here on Lake Winnebago in '89, and Joe rebuilt the house. We tore the old one down. We built this one here. Joe built this one in '96. Rita and I have been going on 60 years, August the 30th, and Barb is the oldest of 10. Then it's Dave, Jean, Jerry, Laurie, John, Jim, and Joe, Mary, and Andy.
This area is the best in the state, I think, for having a family.
We were within, the Motters had 10 children, the Rices had 11 children, the Wallaces had 10 of them. In just a small area, they're all within a block, there was 40 people, 40 children.
After Andrew was born, I was watching the Winter Olympics skiing, and I decided I want to go skiing. So I went to one of the stores and bought skis that were too long, boots that were too big for me. I didn't know. My sister-in-law, Phyllis, we signed up to go to Calumet County, and that day was 10 above or 10 below. It was real cold, and Phyllis had just little shoe boots, and her feet froze practically, and I lost the car keys in the snow. I fell down all the time, and my skis were always crossing each other, and I don't know how I managed it, but we got home. I was determined. So your dad got skis, and he went with me. We got all our children. The Rice girls wanted to come, and then Tom's children, they wanted to come. And then your dad would take you guys even during the week and go to all the different ski hills around.
Calumet, Navarino, New London,
Yeah, Rib Mountain.
Rib Mountain.
I got all them going, and guess what? I never got off the bunny hill because there was something wrong with my knees. I found out why later on, because went over to cross country, and that I loved. That was so much fun. Then my knee went out on me, and I had to have surgery, and I couldn't go anymore. This cake decorating started. Our first birthday, I had cake from a bakery, and then it seemed I had more cakes from the bakeries. It's getting expensive. So I took classes. I signed up for Kimberly, and the first cake, I think Jerry, I made a little castle for Jerry. And I started doing things for the kids, and then I started doing for my in-laws. I've done it for 30 years. My kids, Joe and I don't know who all, while I was in Florida, they went in the basement and helped me get a new kitchen to do all this. So then I could be professional. One of my hobbies was doing gingerbread houses because I couldn't get a license when I moved down here to the lake, and so I made gingerbread houses, cookie houses, and sold them at the orchard. And I did that for quite a while.
My first hunting was in 1948, the year we built the cottage. And there, all deer hunting was all up north. So the first 3 years was up at Roberts Lake, and we started hunting around here. I'm big on northern fishing through the ice. Rita was with me for 10 years. We fished together. We fished partridge crop. At times we were the only ones on a partridge crop. We used to go through Big Al's. Big Al, he was Big Al, about 350 pounds. We went through his yard, and he came out with the snowmobile one day, and we had about five nice big ones hidden in the snow, and we didn't tell him right away, and eventually I felt kind of guilty because we were coming through his land, and I told him what we had. Well, that was a mistake, because from then on he had brothers along the way and friends, and eventually before that, partridge crop was hardly fished at all. We were the only ones, but we had fished Culloch Slough, Poigan, Rich and I, and for 10 years we had a lot of nice big northerns. Going to Mass quite frequently is a big part of our making it go together. Our faith in Jesus, he's been a big help for us. All the way I can tell. It's like small miracles a lot of times. Wondering what, and I'm sure that's, we feel that's, we believe that Jesus is there in the Blessed Sacrament, and so that's the man himself.
Well, we started out, I said when we got married that we would accept whatever God gives us, and He gives us 10 wonderful children.